In previous videos, we talked about how to tell stories with data. And we were looking at how your data should tell a story that follows a linear sequence, has a hook, gives some additional context, helps with that who, what, where, when, why, how, and how much, leads to some aha moment, and then leads to a solution and next steps. When we tell stories with data, we need to have the information, we need to have some key arguments, and those key arguments will dictate what type of visualizations we're going to use, depending on what type of information we're trying to convey. Well, we might be trying to convey this information through a dashboard. So a dashboard is basically a visual of a bunch of different visuals that is trying to convey that information, tell a story. So for example, the dashboard that my face is covering up is the economic dashboard for Alberta. And what it tries to convey is what is happening with the economy of Alberta. So it shows what's happening to inflation, to unemployment. It shows different industries like retail and restaurants and air passengers to help you get an understanding as to what is happening in the Alberta economy. In comparison, here's a dashboard that shows you what the wait times are at health clinics in Calgary. So in each of these, they're trying to convey information, tell a story, and they need to understand who the audience is and make sure that the visualization is accessible to them, that it is not in a distracting form, that it conveys the information quickly. Dashboards can simply contain numbers, like we see here with the wait times for Calgary. They can be a combination of stats and graphs as we see here. So you can create dashboards that show information about customer retention and demographics. If we link about our customer relationship management database, who are the customers? What are the different contracts worth? How frequently do they buy from us? Like at a quick look, we can see who our customers are and which ones are translating into long-term relationships, which ones are leads that we need to contact. We could have a dashboard showing that information. We could compare performances across employees, across production lines and locations. If you've been by like a McDonald's, you see they actually have up on a screen information about how quickly people go through their drive-through, and it actually shows other McDonald's locations. And the idea is that you can then compare your own performance to that of other locations, other production lines, other employees, in order to encourage you to be more efficient. And so the dashboard then conveys things like just the average time, but then it can also show trends over time. So we could look at data visualizations related to time. We could monitor operations in terms of movement of materials on our dashboard. We could look at some of those logistics. We could use it for looking at the organizational goals and how well we're achieving those goals. So we talked about key performance indicators and balanced scorecards. Maybe your dashboard simply contains that balanced scorecard and it's updating how we're doing in terms of meeting those goals and the progress towards it. Maybe our dashboard is about complaints or about wait times. We can look at in terms of how many people's issues have been addressed, how many people are still in the queue. So if you're at the clinic, maybe you're getting blood tests, how many people, what's the wait times for people, what's the average wait time, how long until you get to see someone. We could use dashboards, and this is becoming more and more popular to use dashboards in accounting to look at financial performance over time. How are we doing in terms of revenue and costs? We can look at web analytics, and I don't know if I have one here. Maybe I do, maybe I don't. Yep. So for example, if you have a YouTube channel, here is your channel analytics that shows when people are viewing your videos in terms of number of viewers over time, a number of unique videos. You can look at where they're coming from, right? So we have a number of different stats to look at who is coming to our website and using our website. We could create dashboards that reflect people's sentiment, how they're feeling, positive, negative. So there's lots of things you can use dashboards for. The idea here is that it's about taking all those data visualizations and stats that we've created previously and laying them out so that it conveys a story. And often what we would do is we would on the top of our dashboard show something that's a bigger picture, and then lower on our dashboard are things that are the more details tied to whatever is the bigger picture up at the top. Now, not always, so notice this dashboard is just different locations, same stats. Even this economic dashboard, right, it's a bunch of tiles. So in those cases, there's a lot more sifting and finding people have to do. If you want a much more cohesive story, then create one where there's the big picture at the top, and then these are the details that are tied to that big picture. The benefit of a dashboard, as opposed to, say, an infographic or a slide you make for a presentation, is we can actually make dashboards that are interactive. That is, you can use sliders and buttons to change what information is conveyed. And so again, if the big picture is at the top, then you could then click on sliders and buttons to change what is shown. We can also have it automatically update as the data changes. You can have it report in real time, like we were talking about in terms of like the McDonald's drive-through wait times. You can then see it in real time, change and adjust. So we will look at how to build at least a very basic dashboard in our next video.